Thanks for tuning in back for another Tuesday Talk. And this is a big Tuesday Talk for me, y'all, because it marks like 6 months of me doing this consecutively. So I'm really excited. And yesterday was my birthday, August 3rd. So really excited about that. I wanted to talk to you guys about one in particular. And this one is called Be Like Mike. The reason why I said Be Like Mike is because Michael Jordan for me highlighted an era of my childhood and was really everything to me. I really just said, I'm supposed to be a basketball player. I'm supposed to be like Mike. I'm going to be Michael Jordan, the basketball player. And as I've grown and learned so much more, and I watched The Last Dance that came out on Netflix and that came out, on ESPN, of course, I realized more and more really what he did and how he did it. And it really always had me investigate and think of him. And really, Michael Jordan was a pioneer. And in order to be a pioneer or to be great or to achieve greatness, which we're all supposed to achieve a purpose in our lives. To me, if you achieve your purpose in your life to its full capacity, meaning up here and not down here, because you're still going to. You're going to achieve purpose in your life, whether you achieve the full potential that you had or you achieve just a small portion of the level of potential you had, you're still going to, because you can't evade your calling, no matter what. My dad and I talked about this. I've talked about it with so many mentors, so many people, so many business people, so many previous supervisors. You have to have purpose and intent in your life. And how much you have of it is dependent upon you. So the key thing that I saw when really thinking about Michael Jordan that he did, that a lot of people can't take away from him, is he sacrificed. And in order to be great, in order to be a pioneer, in order to make a difference, to me, the way that people want to make a difference in life as a whole, is you have to be willing to make a sacrifice. I put this on Facebook previously on a post, and I said, basically to the point, in order to achieve greatness, you must sacrifice something that's important to you in that moment. And all I meant with that being said is, whatever is the most important thing to you, if I said you had to give that up, then you're ready to be great. My friend, he told me, Junior, he now is really big in doing local rap artists. When I mean local, I'm talking about Atlanta, East Coast region. He's really big into that now. And when he first started out, him and I were both talking about me doing my clothing line, him being in the rap game, and he sat there and he said, when you're ready to work, basically, whether you're ready to eat, then you're ready. You're ready to achieve. And he's the perfect example of that. He was always willing and ready to work. No matter what situation it put him in, he was going to make sure he did it. And that's big. And that's what I'm telling you, is you have to give up something important to you. Not something important to anybody else. It has to just be important to you. And when you're willing to make that a sacrifice, then you'll be able to achieve greatness for you. And that greatness for you may be getting the promotion that you wanted. That greatness for you may be being a great husband or great with your family. That greatness to you may be being a good friend to somebody else. Look at LeBron's group of friends. Look at the sacrifices that they've probably had to make sure LeBron is who LeBron is today. They all had to sacrifice. Now, don't get me wrong, they got some great perks along the way. They've become great people themselves along the way. But guess what? They all are around the idea that it's all about the brain, King James. And you have to understand that as well. And that leapfrogs me into my next phase, because I think there's like 3 phases. So, being okay, being misunderstood. Michael Jordan, to me, along with other great people, Donald Trump, Kanye West, Wilt Chamberlain, Dennis Rodman. I don't know who else you can think of. Those type of pioneers, Bill Clinton, those type of pioneers were okay being misunderstood. Oprah Winfrey, they're okay being misunderstood. You really never completely understand those individuals. And when Michael Jordan was playing, he attacked. He was an aggressor. He wanted greatness. And he loved competition. And I think you have to understand that you are okay with yourself if nobody else gets you. And a lot of people didn't get Michael Jordan during that time period. A lot of people didn't get Kobe and the way he carried himself and the way he acted during that time period. Everyone was happy with the person Kobe became, so we thought, after retirement. I looked forward to seeing Kobe after retirement because I knew he would become an NBA commissioner. And what he would really and truly be able to do for the NBA would be something great. But it's because I had seen the sacrifices he made as a player that made me respect him. Tom Brady. I'm not a fan of Tom Brady as, per se, a football standpoint. But as him as the achiever and as him as just the ultimate competitor, you can't deny him. There's no way that you can. And that's what I say for you is be okay with yourself not being understood by the masses. Because if you do that and you hone in on your skills, you'll become great or respected by all. It's not about being understood. It's about being able to be okay with who you are in society and what you have to offer your village, no matter how big your village is. Your village can be as big as 10,000 people, or it's be as big as the United States if you're the president, or it could be just as big as your family, 3 people. Either way, you have to be okay with where you're taking who's with you in your village and understanding yourself, even if they don't understand what's going on in the process within. A lot of people in the docuseries, the reason why I call this Be Like Mike is because I so much wanted to be like him as a basketball player. I thought I wanted to be him, but I really wanted to be him, the basketball player. Then as I'm older, I realized the way that I say Be Like Mike now is understanding the purpose of you. Michael Jordan said, he wasn't here to be an activist or a politician. He just immersed himself in basketball. Whether you agree from that standpoint or not, that's your choice. But he understood what he wanted from himself. And I think that's great in this day and age to say now is, what do you want for yourself and what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? And that brings you right into the next phase, is know your craft. So we think Michael Jordan's craft was basketball, or we think that he just was this ultimate warrior on the basketball court. And to me, 2 things got rid of that when I watched The Last Dance. To me, this is, again, just another person's perspective. When he talked about Patrick Ewing, and Patrick Ewing made the statement of they're going to have to drag him out the league and off the NBA because he just is the ultimate warrior. He just is going to stay with basketball. And Michael Jordan said, no, I'm going to walk off. I want everyone to understand that I could have kept going and I decided to leave the game. So that showed me, that's one aspect that showed me it wasn't the warrior part of him. And then the other aspect was that he just cared about basketball and that's it, was because he went and played baseball. to me. And what did he do there? To me, this is Michael Jordan. He competed. He was the ultimate competitor. He was excessive in competition. There's stories of Michael Jordan everyone's heard of. He would cheat to beat his own grandmother. He'd cheat to be his mom, whatever. But really, it just shows me the level he was willing to take things to compete. That's what drove him. He wanted to compete. He wanted to compete against the best, and then he had to win against the best. Whether you were the best person at throwing a quarter or you were a 6-time champion, he wanted to be in that conversation constantly. And that's what drove him. So I ask you is, not only must you sacrifice, not only must you be okay being misunderstood, it brings me into the next phase. Know yourself and know your craft. And when you look at different people, and I'll give you another example that I can just think of now, is Donald Trump. Whether you like what he stands for or don't like what he stands for, you understand where he's at because he has money. So him being the president, literally to me, was really for the setup of his family name, his father, and next his children. That there will be a legacy and a hereafter that you, no matter what, will have to hear about the Trump name forever. If you didn't have to hear about it already in New York, because that's what he did with the Trump Tower in New York, right? That's what he wanted. In New York City, it's supposed to be business haven. You have to go to Trump Tower. If you're a businessman, that's the Mecca. You go to Trump Tower in New York. But he wanted to do it on a bigger scale. And he did that, becoming the president. He wanted his family name to be heard throughout. So to me, his legacy, and I don't know, I haven't talked to him, just like Jordan, from what he said, I haven't talked to him, but he said certain things that just said, like, I'm a competitor. I want to compete. And you look at different people who are pioneers, what drove them and drew them to be the person that they are and the way that we admire them, honestly, if you look at it, it isn't materialistic. It's intrinsic. It's inside of them. And it gets pulled out of them in the moment of when it comes time for everything to be on the line. That's what comes time, and that's what you see. And that's what you either love or hate in the individual that you're talking about. It's intrinsic. And for me, this being not a new chapter in my life, but a new book, from being able to understand where I was before and where I want to be, this is a different phase for me. And I'm happy and glad to see where that leads me. And again, remember, if you want to be like Mike, you got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be okay being misunderstood. And you got to know your craft. Because at the end of the day, when everything else leaves you, you still have to be okay with yourself and what you did. I appreciate you tuning in for this Tuesday Talk. Thank you all. Hopefully new things to come and new changes within Tuesday Talk. Hopefully we see more out of it. Let me know your thoughts. Please comment. Please subscribe to the channel. That's big, right? Subscribe to Flip Culture TV. Go ahead and press